What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the For the Good podcast.
We're so glad you're here.
Our mission is to reach the next generation by encouraging you using God's word.
We cover topics like Christian dating. God does not want someone to come to him because of a person.
Finding your godly spouse.
That's how God works in relationships.
Following God's will for your life.
We think that we should be omniscient with God and staying close to God when the world tempts you. Or it can be worshiping the right God in the wrong way. Romans 8:28 says,
And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose.
this podcast is for God's good and to grow his kingdom.
Our prayer is that this ministry provides you with a healthy Christian community that you can be a part of.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the For the Good podcast.
Yeah, what's up? We're here.
Shout out to Fear the Lamb.
Yeah,
Thanks
Fear the
for
Lamb.
sending my husband some shirts so that I could steal them from his side of the closet.
Yeah. I'm actually wearing one of their, they sent me this too. You can go check them out if you want. I don't have like a code or anything. They just send us some clothes, so it was cool. And also, what's his last name, honey? Zach something?
Wendell.
Yeah, Wendell, I think.
Let me look it up.
He just sent me a book. He wanted to, get my thoughts on it and everything. Wendell, yes. Y'all have probably seen him on TikTok and Instagram and stuff. He just came with a book called The Bible Simplified. So I haven't started reading it yet, but there is a good chance that we will do some type of giveaway with it in the future. Not really. I haven't proposed this to Zach yet, but if he doesn't want to do it, that's fine. Michelle and I are going to do it. But from the looks of it, this would be very good for a believer that is very new in their walk because, trust me, I wish I had this when I first became a believer because, man, did I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like the Bible was simplified. So I'm excited because I still have questions. I wonder if this book kind of dissects some of the questions that I have. But anywho, that's not the topic of discussion today at all. I just wanted to say shout out to these two gentlemen. Or wait, I guess it's a company and then Zach. So
Yeah, tag him so we can get him on the podcast.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, if
Actually,
y'all,
you could just message him. But yeah.
yeah, I can just message him. But yeah,
Some
if y'all want
encouragement.
to see him on,
Yeah.
comment, and maybe I can shoot him a DM and we can get him on and we can talk about how the Bible can be simplified.
Yeah.
Okay,
That sounds great.
go ahead, honey.
No, why don't you lead us off today? Because you came up with the topic today and we talked about it a little bit yesterday.
Okay.
And read the verse that kind of brought it up and then how this topic came to be.
Okay. Well, I forgot how this topic. Oh, well, I guess. Well, there's a couple reasons why this topic came to be, but a big question I get when I stream and do YouTube and stuff like that, people ask me, dude, why am I facing so many trials as a Christian? Like, this isn't fair. Is this the enemy out to get me? Am I not doing God's will? Like, what the heck? Here's the thing that I want to start off saying. You had trials before you were following God. And now they're just more apparent. So, also one thing I want to say is, I don't know what gospel some people get fed, but the gospel sometimes gets fed in a way of an easy way out in life, almost. So
Like a
it'll
get out of jail free card.
yeah, so it'll be because you have Jesus, you're good, you're safe. Honey, look at Philippians. I don't even. How can I read this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if y'all can see this, but my Bible is just written on because I've had this Bible for so long.
That was your first one, wasn't it? Yeah.
First one ever. I actually stopped writing in my Bible like this because it was so hard for me to reread stuff. So I have like other notes and stuff. I don't really write in my Bibles anymore. I really write in journals or in my notes and stuff like that. But anywho, excuse my cough too, by the way. I've been sick for like 4 months. Yeah, so I don't know what gospel some people get fed, but it's along the lines of, hey, now you follow Jesus and you're not going to face anything nowadays. Like you're good. Can I paint a picture actually? And I feel like this will really display some. I was talking on stream and
Okay.
I got painted this picture.
Sure.
So in high school, I used to be a 3-point shooter. Like that was my position, shooting guard.
Okay.
Banging them home, honey. 3-pointer after 3-pointer.
Ballin'.
Yeah. Okay, so if I'm in the game and I'm not the 3-point line and I'm at half court staring at cheerleaders or whatever, right? Not playing. Is the defender going to be guarding me?
No.
No, he's going to be guarding someone else, double teaming, trying to win.
Right.
Who's actually playing the game.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm following.
However, when I start playing the game,
Yeah.
I then am going to start getting guarded. All
Target
right?
on your back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Because they don't want me to win.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then sometimes when you score a lot of points, 3-pointer after 3-pointer after 3-pointer, then you get double teamed. And so this is the same way how Christians, or this is how the same way the walk with Jesus actually is. Satan or the enemy, however you want to say it, they weren't guarding you. You were at half court. You weren't shooting 3-pointers. Now you're fishing for men. So the enemy will do things like, yep, God doesn't love you anymore. Or, dang, that girl's really hot. You know, you should cheat on your wife for her because it's going to give you a lot of satisfaction. You know, whatever the enemy likes to tell us, right? Because you're now in the game.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you're also fishing for people who is serving Satan's kingdom. All right? So that's the picture I want to paint real quick. I hope that makes sense for you guys. And then I'm going to start off with this verse. This is 1 Peter chapter 4, starting at verse number 12. It says, "Dear friends," I don't like this translation. Most translations say beloved, and I like that more. Anyway, it says, "Beloved, don't be surprised at the fiery trials you are going through, as if something strange were happening to you. Instead, be very glad, for these trials make you partners with Christ in his suffering, so that you will have the wonderful joy of seeing his glory when it is revealed to all the world." And this is the problem. You receive salvation, you start playing the game, the enemy comes in, attacks, but then you're like, what the heck? Why is all of this happening to me? But yet the word of God says the opposite. It says, why are you being surprised by this? Muslims don't get attacked. Buddhists don't get attacked. Atheists don't get attacked. They're already serving a kingdom of Satan. The only ones who get attacked are Christians.
They might get attacked based on their own behavior.
Yes.
So it's like the victim mentality. Like they feel like they're getting attacked and that their life's falling apart, but it's really the consequences of their own actions.
Yeah, exactly. Why would the enemy want to tempt you with alcohol if you're already getting drunk all the time? Like he's going to tempt you with alcohol once you've been saved and once you've put alcohol to the side and be like, I don't need that anymore. That's when the enemy's going to be like, well, that's what you used to do. And he'll like to be in there and be like, well, that's what you used to. That used to give you a lot of satisfaction when you were serving me. And he won't say that literally in your head, but he'll tempt you in these ways. And then we'll be like, wait, why is this coming up? And it's like, well, you're serving a different kingdom now. And then Peter goes on to say, by your trials you are going through, as if something strange were happening to you. So it's not strange. It's not out of the ordinary that you are getting attacked. All of us go through it. And this is kind of another topic, honey, that I wanted to talk about. And when we started talking about Job last night,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I got this.
Okay.
Because, we like to say, well, I'm in my Job season. Mm-hmm. And that's like, well, now you're putting yourself in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And that's not the way the Bible should be read. And you're acting like your situation is a lot different from all of us, and it's not. It's not strange. Mm-hmm. And the book of Job is great for understanding that the fiery trials you go through and the tribulation you go through, it's a great way to understand how to respond to that. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily saying, I'm Job. Mm-hmm. Because, job loss sucks. If you lose your wife to whatever, cancer, or you'll get a divorce, that's terrible. If your girlfriend breaks up with you, that stinks. If I don't know if I already said it, you lose your job, that stinks. You lose your child, that stinks. Like, all these things really, really stink,
and they're really hard,
and they're really difficult. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying the book of Job is a great example of everything went wrong, yet he still decided to praise God and worship God. Mm-hmm. So it's not, dang, I'm like Job because I lost my job. It's, no, I learned from Job that we should be rejoicing even when these trials come. Now, that's a little bit of a different topic. When we're talking about in 1 Peter, we're really talking about like spiritual warfare. We're not necessarily talking about things that may happen in life, because like losing your job or getting fired or your girlfriend breaking up with you, like we can't necessarily pinpoint that spiritual warfare. I just like to pinpoint that as just being life.
Yeah. And
also what I want to say is God's will is going to be done, period, whether you like it or not. Mm-hmm. So it's not one of those things where, oh shoot, girlfriend broke up with me, spiritual warfare. No, dude, homie, that's just life. Like, you're going to get rejected. You're probably going to go through a lot of times where you don't get the job. People are going to pass away, friends, family. That stinks. And that's just the circle of life. Mm-hmm. That's just how it goes. It's not necessarily spiritual warfare.
Right.
Because I would argue spiritual warfare more so goes along the lines of temptations.
Yeah.
And when stuff happens in your life, I like to classify that as life. But that's a topic for another day.
Well,
but go
and
ahead,
you can also look at the temptations. They might not necessarily be tempting you to sin, but it might be tempting you to waver your faith. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy that we're talking about this, because I was listening to Sadie Robertson's podcast, and a lot of stuff recently just happened to her and her family. And when she was talking about, it was a conversation between her and her husband, and she was basically saying like they got stolen from, their daughter got really, really sick. She had a really high fever. She also had a really bad nosebleed before they were entering the plane. So there was like multiple instances in this trip that they were going on for her to speak at a conference. There was so many things that happened this trip. Wow. Like so many bad things. And she was like, looking back on it, there is always something bad that happens every single time I go to speak somewhere. And she's like, it's almost like the enemy knows the power behind the message that the Lord gave me, and he tries to like hinder me. And it was crazy hearing from her perspective, because all of these things, like the littlest thing will happen in our life, and I'll like just get so worked up about it. Like something so small compared to like other things that are happening in the world, like what happened to you today when you got frustrated, like that was so minuscule compared to all these other things that are going on. And it's crazy because like hearing that, I was like, dang, if that would have happened to me, that would have been really bad. Like, and Asher and I, we've been, the past couple weeks, we've been like, I feel like we can't catch a break, because something bad has happened like every single week, literally, in our family. And it's crazy to think about it that way, because it's like you were saying at the beginning, right? We have a target on our back, like the enemy knew that the message that Sadie was going to give was going to be so powerful that all of these bad things were happening to her, but her faith never wavered. Like she went to the conference, she spoke, she's changing lives. The Lord is using her in huge ways. You know, she's speaking on behalf of him. And it was just really good to hear and encouraging, because I feel like sometimes when we think that we're following God's will for our life, bad things are happening and we're like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. You know, we question it.
Yeah, we question
and that's
it,
exactly what he wants us to do. Right. And, yeah, it was really cool because she gave so many examples. Honey, every single year before Passion, something has happened to her. Like she's either gotten sick, she was like quarantined. There were so many things that happened. Like a couple years in a row, she had to literally stream herself to Passion because she couldn't be in the room. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it on the head, honey, because this kind of leads into our next verse that I just told you out there. This is 1 Peter chapter 5, starting at verse 8. Peter writes, "Stay alert, watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour." Here it is, honey. "Stand firm against him and be strong in your faith. Remember that your family of believers all over the world is going through the same kind of suffering you are." Again, we can go back over to verse 13 in chapter 4, and which is right here, verse 12. Sorry, and it says, "As if something strange were happening to you." Again, something strange were happening to you. Nothing strange is happening to you, because Peter goes on to affirm, all over the world is going through the same kind of suffering you are. So this isn't weird.
And you're not alone.
Yeah, it's not weird, and you're not alone. Like, yeah, the lust battle, guess what? 100% of men are going through that. Maybe you're a female. 100% of women are going through that. All right. It may not be very evident in their life. I mean, people struggle with certain sin more than others. Right? You're really selfish. Okay, cool. So are 100% of believers. You know, like it's a journey. It's a sanctification process. I mean, we need to repent and turn away from it. But it's not weird. And that's what I was getting at the beginning of this episode, honey, is we feed this gospel where it looks really glorious and glamorous. But then when we get there, we start getting attacked. We're like, ooh, I don't like this. Because then the enemy will start bringing up things in your past, and then he'll take little parts of scripture and be like, well, see, in this verse right here, it says that God does this, this, and this, and you're kind of like that, so he probably doesn't forgive you. And I just wish new believers knew this, because I didn't get told. I never got told this.
Yeah.
When I first came to the faith, and I was very confused.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate that when I did get saved, I had no girlfriend, and all I had was my business and this Bible. And I was able to read the entire New Testament in like a week. Because if I put myself in their position, 9-to-5 job, maybe with a girlfriend, whatever, and didn't have a lot of time, it would have taken me a long time to get to this part. Now, there are other parts. 1st, 2nd Corinthians talks about trials and stuff like that. This is just one verse. But there aren't that many verses in the New Testament that are so explicit like this.
Yeah.
You have verses like, is it John 14 when Jesus says, you know, if they hate you, remember they hated me first. I think it's John chapter 14. I can't remember. Stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Where you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, like I don't really know what you mean by that, you know? But then you get to this And this is, if you read the New Testament from starting at the Gospels, I mean, this is 1st and 2nd Peter is close to Revelation.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, I think it's, no, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John's next. But like, this is close to the end. It's going to take a long time for someone to read this. Mm-hmm. And I think a little bit of my passion about this topic in specific comes from that, about how it takes a long time for new believers to understand that, like, it's normal. Mm-hmm. But then on top of that, I think a big passion comes from, I just get asked the question so much.
Yeah.
And they think that there's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
There's not anything wrong with you.
Yeah. So we're talking about spiritual warfare and how we go through trials as believers. But I also want to make a point and say that we should not be blaming the enemy for consequences of our own actions.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point, honey.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm going through spiritual warfare. And it's like, no, you just are doing things that are leading you into temptation and into sin. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily him. You're doing those actions, right? So, like, let me give you an example. You struggle with over drinking, excessive drinking, not being an alcoholic.
Okay.
But you have a tendency to go a little bit too far.
Okay.
And not be of sober mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your friends are like, hey, we're going to go do something tonight. And you're like, yeah, this is great. And then you guys are all hanging out. And then everyone's like, hey, we're going to go to this bar to end the night. And in your mind, you're like, I should probably go home. Because I know that if I go, I'm going to have too many drinks, get drunk, and then I'm going to regret it. Okay. And you don't want to feel the one being left out.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, let's go. And then you go, and then you start drinking too much. And then something bad happens, and then you go home and you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, all this spiritual warfare. And it's like, no, bro, you had a choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did have a choice.
Okay. We're talking about things that are like kind of out of your control. Okay. Let me give you an example of something out of our control. Asher and I had our refrigerator break, and all of my frozen breast milk of about what did we say? It was like a half a month worth, started to unthaw. So we had to buy a new refrigerator. Okay. Not a big deal. We said, whatever, let's go get a new refrigerator. We got a new refrigerator. Well, the new refrigerator stopped working after like 2 weeks. I kid you not. We had it for 2 weeks, and all of my milk started to thaw out again. And we were like, oh, what are we going to do? We called the maintenance guy. Lord was looking out. He was literally down the street, and all of his appointments canceled. And he came over and fixed it immediately because, newsflash, it's 100 degrees in Texas, and our air conditioning gets up to like 75, 76 because it can't keep up. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the refrigerator's temperature was going up really quick. Okay. And we were like, why does this keep happening? Like, why are all of these things happening? You know, like we didn't choose for that thing to happen. You know, like we didn't choose for the consequences of that. We didn't do anything, you know, to cause that. We literally bought a new refrigerator from Home Depot, you know? So I just want to make sure that we're clarifying that we're talking about things that come out of nowhere, that are out of your control. And you're just like, what? This isn't fair. Like, why is this happening?
I also want to make a point real. Sorry,
go ahead.
I just want to make a point real quick. Maybe you do disagree with me on this, and this could be something we could disagree on. First time ever on this show. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily the event. So the refrigerator breaking, it's what comes after that. It's what comes, well, shoot, is this God doing this? Why is this happening?
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
It's not necessarily, I think that just happened because we got unlucky.
Oh, the chances of that, yeah. It was the switch on the inside of the refrigerator. Yeah. It was telling the refrigerator that it was open, and it wasn't.
I am not saying the enemy turned our refrigerator switch off.
No.
That's not what we're saying.
No.
We're talking about the thoughts that came in once we realized it was broken.
Why
and
us? This isn't fair.
Yeah, and then that's kind of more
Yeah.
what I mean by
Yeah.
like spiritual warfare,
Yeah.
kind of like getting in your thoughts about stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, if you have a drinking problem and you go out with your friends and then you get drunk and then you say spiritual warfare, homie, you're like giving the devil credit.
Yeah.
And like, that's the victim mentality. That's your
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
Like, that has nothing to do with the enemy.
Yeah.
That has all to do with you. And
Yeah.
you're not disciplined.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, you gossip a lot and then you go hang out with your girlfriends, or if you're a guy, you go hang out with guys that gossip about people and you tune in to the gossip. No, that's not the enemy. That's your fault. Like, that's not what. If the enemy already has a grasp on you in one area, why does he need to tempt you in that area anymore?
Yeah.
You're already in bondage.
Yeah.
Like, you need to break it off.
Yeah.
I say this all the time about adult content. Like, oh, dude, I just keep on looking. It's like, bro, that's your fault. Like,
Yeah.
if it causes you to if it causes you to do that, why do you have an iPhone? Like, you can't look at it on a flip phone. And, oh, well, iPhones are just so much more convenient, stuff like that. Okay, and do you want to continue to give the enemy credit, or do you want to serve God's kingdom? Like, that's how important it is.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be like harsh or anything, but like, seriously, like, let's take some accountability here. Like, no, the enemy doesn't need to tempt you anymore because you're in bondage. Like, throw the iPhone away, throw the laptop away. And JP talked about this on his
Yeah, he
podcast
did.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Like, when we were in, like, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And he was talking about adult content. People were like, well, what if you just can't stop? And he was like, dude, just throw the iPhone away.
Yeah.
Like, is your relationship with the Lord important or not?
Yeah.
And he was being dead serious.
Yeah, he was.
And some of the comments were like, this was harsh, but I needed to hear. And it's true, bro. Like, a girl, let's say you're dating a girl and she leads you into, or wants you to, sleep with her before marriage or do something, or you're a girl and this guy wants you to, sleep with you before marriage, like, okay, break up with them. Like, what's more important, their feelings or your relationship with God? Because again, like,
Who are we serving?
yeah, I mean, bro, we've said this multiple times. We're serving a holy judge here.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
The actions
Like-
that you make on Tuesday, July 29th at 7 p.m. are literally going to be accounted for in front of the Lord
Yeah.
one day.
And I don't know how we got on this topic, but yeah, I just
don't like it when people use spiritual warfare as an excuse for what they did.
it's a get out of jail
And
free
this
card.
is something that my old pastor back in Ohio used to talk about all the time. I said that kind of with an accent. Do you hear that? I said Ohio.
Say it with an accent. What's that from, honey? That is from now say it with an accent.
Are you talking about Monsters Inc?
No.
Oh.
Now say it with an accent. Then he slaps him in the face. Oh man.
Okay, I don't know.
Someone in the comments will know.
Yeah, comment down below if you know.
Yeah.
But no, he always used to talk about human responsibility because he was more so talking about people who don't believe in Jesus, right? So
Okay.
he's like, we all have accountability here, right? Like when you get to the end of the time that we have on earth and you have to stand in front of him and say that you didn't believe in him, that's not his fault.
No, it's not.
And so he was like, we need to take human responsibility. Like we all have responsibility for what we believe in and what we're doing. And it's really sad. It would be really sad to be in the Lord's position and him be like, you know that this is a problem that you have, and yet you're literally blaming it on the enemy.
Yeah.
Like, I know you. I know your heart. I know where you're at. I know where you're mentally at. I know how you got in this situation, and it was literally you.
Yeah.
There was a girl that was in my Bible study back in Ohio, and I still follow her on Instagram. I've told you about her before. But I met her after she was married to her husband, and her husband had just beat cancer, and they got pregnant, and she was due in like June, I think, of last year. And she had to give birth to her stillborn baby in April after her husband just got re-diagnosed with cancer in January.
Oh, yeah, he told me about that.
Talk about trials. And, you know, from going through all of that, like you're sitting with your husband in chemo, and then you have to go to the hospital, and then you have to come home to an empty house. Like, I'm not trying to get really deep here, but like, that had to have hurt so bad. Like, it makes me emotional just thinking about it. And the only thing that she posted after that happened was how all of her faith and trust is in the Lord, and her faith never wavered. She never said, I'm so mad at God, because she understands in her walk with Jesus that this world is so broken and that bad things happen all the time. And there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Her husband beat cancer, and they just gave birth to another baby girl. And they're enjoying all of their time with her right now. And it's so awesome to see that through all of that, because if I was a non-believer and I was following her and I knew how deep she was in her faith, because she always posted about it, it was very prevalent in her life. And if I was a non-believer and I saw her go through that, I would be like, dang, I bet she's mad at God.
Yeah.
And all she was posting was how much she loves him and how much she trusts him and has faith in him. And I would have been like, dang, this must be true. Like, if you can say that after all of those trials, man, like, this must be real. That's what I would say. So, I want to make sure that we touched on that real quick.
Yeah, thanks, honey. I don't know. That was...
So life's not easy, and we got to keep our faith in God. And I'm not saying that this is easy either, right? Like, that would be really, really hard. Going through something so life-altering and keeping your faith the entire time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I hope y'all aren't getting the message that this is a quote-unquote easy task.
It's fine. Life's hard. Have faith. It's way easier said than done.
Yeah. The Christian walk is substantially harder than... Oh, man. Christian walk is hard. But yeah, I feel like we covered a lot of stuff. Spiritual warfare, trials, stuff like that. I don't really have any other thoughts, I don't think. Yeah, comment down below. Say it with an accent.
It's bothering you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to have to go look it up. All right, we'll catch y'all next Wednesday on the tripod.